What's up, everyone? Dr. D here, bringing you another episode of Dr. D's DDR for Dummies. This is DDR Tips and Tricks, episode 3, and I'm your host, Dr. D, obviously. And just a reminder, make sure that you're subscribed with notifications on if you want to make sure you're alerted as soon as these videos are available. And go ahead and check out my Discord, where we can talk more about ideas, advice, tips, and tricks in the discussion forums. Alright, so today's episode, I want to, one, make it a little bit shorter than the other two. It's not going to be so much as a discussion. I'm going to try to make more streamlined actual advice and tips in the upcoming videos. Today's episode is going to focus on some mental improving tips. How I was able to get better myself, and some other ideas that maybe you can try out next time you go play or just keep them in the back of your mind. So this is mental training episode 1. I'm not sure how I'm going to title these yet. But to get started, we're going to talk about a bit about my history, I guess. So I was never as good as I am today at any given time. I've improved over time. And wherever you are, you can always improve, and it takes time. There's ways to accelerate it. There's ways to mitigate it. I feel that if I knew all the stuff that I do know today, I probably could have improved a lot faster. So I hope that this will be helpful to you more than it was when I was just getting started. So I started way back in about 2002 or 3. I was even introduced to the game a little bit earlier than that, but I didn't really start playing until I'd even say 2003. And at that time I was just trying to get double A's if I could on expert, and it was a tough grind. I couldn't even pass a lot of the songs, and I kept working on it, kept trying to get better. Now let me tell you the first breakthrough and the first tip that I'm going to give you that's really going to put things into perspective. And this is it. You have to tell yourself, you have to know, you have to believe it that anything is possible. Well, not anything is possible. No one's going to MFC Groove Radar Special anytime soon. But, okay, let's not say anything's possible. Let me put it a little simpler. If someone can do it, you can do it. When I was watching other people play at my arcade or around my city or even across the country, I would say, how can they get that scored? How are they able to AAA the song and I can't? And I would think about it and I would wonder, why are they able to do something that I'm not? And in some cases, I would see a guy or a girl, but mostly a guy, who I would consider I was more physically fit than them. I'd say, wow, I'm in better shape than they are. I do sports. I actually, go running. And here's this person, and they're killing me. They're killing me on these songs. And what that did for me was to say that this is what started getting me to know that the difference is mental and physical. So I had the physical advantage over some players who I felt were doing better than I was, but I just couldn't do what they could. And I realized with that they had a mental advantage than I did. That is to say that they understood the game and the timing and all the stuff that associated with it more than I did. So no matter how much more stamina, endurance, or whatever I have than them, because of their technique, because of their timing, because of their knowledge of the game, they were always able to outperform me. And we can go even to the extremes. At the time, I was watching some of the most incredible feats, especially with Kevbo and a few other players. They were able to triple ace things like Max Unlimited, Legend of Max. It was unbelievable to. I was actually there. If you've watched the old Max Unlimited video, I am in the background when they turned the camera. That was in Parma Town. Good memories. But being able to see that someone can do it was huge for me. Even though at the time, when I was able to watch Kevbo do such an incredible feat, I was nowhere near it. I'm not even sure if I could double A Max Unlimited at that time. But it didn't make me discouraged. It encouraged me because I knew that it's possible. It's possible. If he can do it, why can't I? If I can do something, why can't you? It comes down to training, hard work, dedication. It comes down to a lot of things. But unless we're talking about songs that are completely physically demanding, let's just even say up to level, 12 or 13. I would say an average person in a relatively good health, they're able to do these kind of songs. You're able to move your body in this kind of way. So the physical is not going to be your issue. It's all going to be mental at this point. So I kept just putting it in my mind, if they can do it, it's possible. If they can do it, why can't I do it? And with this, just put me on a path where I kept saying that if it can be done, I can do it. I just have to work. If I work as hard as they do, if I try as much as they do, I can get there. And in most cases, it seemed to work out. And in even some places, I'm trailblazing and I'm getting scores that people have yet to do. So I hope that you can look at it whenever you see someone do better than you or an incredible score. Don't get discouraged. Don't. Just use that information as good information, saying that this is within the human limits. This is within capabilities and possibilities, and use that as motivation to work towards those. Don't get discouraged. All right, so that's my first advice: is just realizing that if someone's done it, it can be done, and you can do it if you work hard enough. There's something really satisfying to me, and this is even affecting me today, and I can go into a different discussion, but it's not related to DDR tips and tricks. But I really, really like knowing that people are on even playing fields. As in, if I go up to a machine and I play my set, and then Kevbo comes up on the machine after me and he plays his set and he blows my scores out of the water, I know that the only limiting factor is my own abilities. There is no software differences. The machine is the exact same. The pads are the exact same. Everything is exactly the same. If I can't do what he can do, it's 100% on me. And I like that. And the reason why I like that is because I can improve that. Your body is a tool. You can always improve your tool. When you come down to other things, like perhaps someone has a better modded machine, or they have a better screen, or this, especially if you were coming into like ITG and all the different kind of various setups, which that's one reason why a lot of drama has been caused in the ITG community. You have people complaining that, oh, you were not official hardware, or the software was modded, or oh, you have this and that and this. And that's one reason I never really got into ITG, because it's just so variable. It's so variable. Everyone's setup is different from everyone else's. You could have a different size screen. You could be using an LCD versus a CRT. You could be using OpenITG or SM5 or StepMania 3.95. You could be using a plethora of different variants that all have some noticeable impact. There's a huge controversy about allowing the JWA 0.00015, I think it was, back in the day. And people can't come to a consensus. And that's why a lot of people did question Happy Feet's Seth's quad on Vertex Squared, because they were wondering if it was done on the right, hardware, software, if the metrics were correct or not. I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now, but it does give some good details to my overall point about when you know that you're on the same machine as someone else. Try this next time. When you go to the arcade and you are playing and someone else comes up after you, if they're able to do better than you, stop what you're doing, unless you really got to do something, but watch them. Look at their technique. How are they playing? What are they doing different? Are they saving energy? How are they saving energy? Where are they looking on the screen? What speed options are they using? Pay attention to all the details. If you watch someone that's better than you, you can become better. One reason why I also got better is because I was in a great place to grow up and play. I was in a community that a lot of good players came out of. We had Pat McMack, we had DJ Stunna, we had Kevbo, we had even just my very local arcade. We had a few really good players at the time, and they just motivated me. I kept watching them. They kept showing me that what they're able to do is possible. And the more I knew that stuff was possible, the more I was determined to make it so that I would be able to do what they could do as well. You gotta want it, like I said before, and you gotta know that it's possible, and you gotta know that the more you study the people who are better than you, the more improvement you're always gonna see. Okay. And yeah, just like I said, if you're playing on the same machine as someone else, you are on equal playing fields. There's nothing different. There's no advantage that you have over the other person. The only difference is in your ability and their ability, and use that to try to get better. So I have more to say, but I'll leave that one for another video. But there's one more thing I want to talk about in this video before we end it, and that is one more tip. And this tip is something psychologically that you gotta be able to understand and adapt to and know very well and have it conscious at all times. So, one reason why I'm always able to improve and I'm always able to get better is because of my attitude. And my attitude when I play is very accepting of the results. One reason why I love DDR so much is its instant results. Sometimes you have to play a game, you have to do an entire level, and then you can see if you cut down on time or how many enemies you killed or something like that, but it's indirect. You don't get the final results until further into the level or stage or game, whatever it is. DDR, you get instantaneous results. You step and you are judged immediately. You step, if you did a great job, you got the marvelous. If you're a little off, perfect. Even more off, you get a great. You are judged immediately when you are stepping in DDR. And I love that. Now, this is what my advice is right here. Accept the judgment. I know a lot of people, especially back in the day, I don't hear it too much now, but you cannot blame the machine. You cannot blame the software. You can't do this. You have to get to the point where when you step and you got a perfect, you say, oh, yeah, I was late. Yeah, you know what? I think I was a little bit early on that step. The machine is fair. Sure, the songs drift. Sure, some songs are not on sync. But besides the point, if we're talking about on sync song and you know it really well, you have to be accepting of the judgments. Because if you are accepting of the judgments, you're able to make a change. If you try to put fault on something else, be like, oh, that was a pad great, it was probably a pad perfect. When you start doing this, you're going to start losing the improvement that you can be gaining. Whenever I get a perfect, I already know, even if I did not have the fast or slow option on, I know it. I know it. I know that, you know what? That was a perfect. You know what? Yeah, that was probably a great. I know it because I know the game very well. I think that's my mental ability in this game. And because I know it so well, I'm able to improve. So, for example, you play a song, say around a 100 combo, you get an early perfect. Alright, so you stepped and you got an early perfect. Alright, no big deal, right? Accept that you got it, feel why you got it, and then tell yourself, next time I play, I'm not going to get an early perfect there. Even if I have to step so late that I get a late perfect or a great, I'm not letting myself get an early perfect there. This is more in terms of if you're trying to MFC a song, this is how I think. If there are troublesome spots, you have to pinpoint exactly why. Perhaps the music goes quiet and you're more prone to stepping early, so you have to make a physical and mental effort to step later to avoid those. But it can be for greats as well if that's where you are at. It could be for anything, in fact. Just you have to make mental notes in the song at your troublesome spots Which spots are giving you trouble? Analyze why did you have a problem there? And then ask yourself, next time you play it, how are you going to avoid it? Perhaps your right foot is on the up arrow, and then there's a triplet up, right, left. Well, if your right foot's on the right arrow, doing the doing the up, right, left, you're either going to have to bracket the up to the right, you're going to have to cross over the right to the left, or you're just going to miss it. So what do? Well, make a note. What combo was that at? Okay, so it was at 87 combo. Put that in your mind. And then the entire next time you're playing it, say that no matter what, at 87 combo, and even before, I need to make sure that I am left foot dominant on the up arrow at this part. Make a mental note to make sure your left foot is at the up the next time you get to 87 combo. And when you get there, you're going to do the up, right, left triplet, starting with your left foot, and you're going to nail it. And you're going to nail it because you thought about it before you got there. This is what I'm always doing. Whether it's trying to keep a combo, trying to avoid a perfect or a great, I'm always thinking, why did I get that great? Why did I get that miss? Why? Is it really my fault? Well, yeah, it always is my fault, but how do I improve that? How can I prevent that? Which foot should I start with at this combo to give me optimal chances to succeed at whatever grading I'm going for? These and more are constantly in my mind, and I always use the feedback that I'm getting from the machine to adjust. Whether you're doing a stream where you got a good marvelous stream going and you start drifting into early perfects, use that information. Physically and mentally force yourself to go a little bit later and get back on that marvelous train. Every step you can make adjustments. If you got that marvelous stream going, you know you're doing well. Once you start drifting is as soon as you also start calculating. Why are you drifting? Why are you doing this? How can you make it better? If you played it next time, how are you going to avoid the mistakes that you made this time? So this video is already going on pretty long, but as you can see, I hope the part that you should be hammering home right now is that my mind is just always at work, and before the song, during the song, after the song. And you got to put your mind at work too. This is what's going to help you improve your mental game. You got to make a conscious effort at all parts of the time before you pick the song, which another video we're going to be doing is talking about how to maximize your benefits of all the options. But you got to think, what options are going to give you the greatest chance? What parts were you screwing up at? Are they able to, change a footing so that it improves it? Is it able that you can just slow down or speed up to avoid greats or perfects? You have to put that. And then during the song, when you start getting the judgments that you don't want, you have to act on the fly to correct it and try to finish out as strong as you can. And at the end of the song, you have to assess it. Think about it. All right, I got 3 greats and 21 perfects. Can I avoid any of those greats? Well, I average about 4 or 5, and I think I'm getting better. And now that I know that I can do this trick, I can for sure avoid that great. And I can probably improve in my perfect count. And you just keep going on from this. Keep asking yourself, how can you improve this? And you'll find that you will improve. Alright, so this is mental episode number 1. I shared the 2 tips, which, to recap, number 1, anything's possible. If they can do it, you can do it. You just have to work harder. And number 2, use the judgments to your advantage. Correct whatever it is that is, giving you trouble, and just identify the mistakes and identify the solutions. And with that, this video is under 20 minutes. Still a little bit longer than I was hoping, but I think we got some good information in here. If you have any tips for me on how to improve this series, please let me know down below. But as always, I really hope that this information has been helpful to you. And if you want to keep the discussion going, just put a comment down below. Join me on Discord. We can chat about anything there. And yeah, just join me for live streams. I'll try to answer questions during them as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.